Following on from Pharaoh's dreams, we read in the rest of Genesis 41 how Joseph prepared the country for those years of famine. So Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I hereby put you in charge of the whole land of Egypt." Then Pharaoh took his signet ring from his finger and put it on Joseph's finger. He dressed him in robes of fine linen and put a gold chain around his neck. He had him ride in a chariot as his second in command, and people shouted before him, "Make way!" Thus he put him in charge of the whole land of Egypt. Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. During the 7 years of abundance, the land produced plentifully. Joseph stored up quantities of grain, like the sand of the sea. It was so much that he stopped keeping records because it was beyond measure. The 7 years of abundance in Egypt came to an end, and the 7 years of famine began, just as Joseph had said. There was famine in all the other lands, but in the whole land of Egypt there was food. When all Egypt began to feel the famine, the people cried to Pharaoh for food. Then Pharaoh told the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph and do what he tells you." When the famine had spread over the whole country, Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold grain to the Egyptians, for the famine was severe throughout Egypt. And all the world came to Egypt to buy grain from Joseph, because the famine was severe everywhere. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. The first thing to quickly point out here is that Joseph is 30 years old in this story. That's many years since he was sold as a slave at the age of 17. It's almost half his life that he's been away from his family and at the mercy of those who see him as a foreigner and someone to be looked down upon. Like I said in the last message, it's so easy to read the story unfolding in a matter of minutes and then to get frustrated because things in our lives take years to unfold and for God to work. But the almost frustrating reality is that it took ages for the biblical characters too. So don't lose hope. And then the second thing to take from this passage is that we need to follow God's instructions. Yes, it can be effort. Yes, other people may not always understand or like what we're doing, but God's way is the way that leads to the fullness of life. Joseph realized this. Everyone in the story could have ignored what God instructed them to do, and it would have left a lot of people starving. I mean, we're talking whole countries starving. But Joseph knew that there would be 7 good years, followed by 7 bad years, and so he acted accordingly. He didn't wait for someone else to do it. He didn't think, "I'm sure it'll be fine," and just hope for the best. No, Joseph saw what needed to be done to bring life, and he did it. The ways of God ultimately bring life. Proverbs 4 verses 5 to 6 says, "Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget my words or turn away from them. Do not forget wisdom, and she will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you." Is there an area in your life where you are doing something that you know is unwise? Or alternatively, is there somewhere in your life where you know that you should be doing something and you just aren't? If there's something that comes to mind as I ask that, it may be the prompting of the Holy Spirit, just sort of nudging your thinking. Ask yourself, what am I doing to lead an abundant life? Is what I'm doing leading to it? Is it something that will protect you? Remember, things that make us feel less alive are not of God. Let us hold on to wisdom and understanding, not turning away from them. And as we do that, we can feel God's love and protection leading us and watching over us, just as it was for Joseph.